là-bas.
Bonsoir. Alors, tout d'abord, merci beaucoup pour ce film que j'ai trouvé absolument formidable. Donc, vous avez adapté un manga, mais finalement, on trouve aucun accent nippon dans ce film. Vous n'avez pas utilisé les influences cyberpunk du manga. Vous êtes plutôt allé vers des influences latino, avec une ville Atlantique qui ressemble un peu à Cuba ou à des villes mexicaines. Et en fait, j'aurais aimé savoir pourquoi vous avez préféré privilégier cette ambiance latino à une ambiance un peu plus japonisante qui aurait été un peu plus un hommage au manga. Voilà.
Well, thank you so much first for a terrific film. The lady was wondering, obviously, it's adapted from a manga, but in ALITA, I mean, there's really no cyberpunk or Japanese, really, manga, you know, hits that. It's more like a Latin American field flavor. I mean, why? Why give it this vibe? Why not go more into the homage to the Japanese type of mangas? I see you nodding, Robert, so you're answering that question.
Well, what's great, what we really loved and what Jim responded to in the material was that Kishiro didn't write a graphic novel that was Asian-centric. It was a melting pot society. Originally, it takes place more like in Kansas City. It was actually Jim that realized scientifically it would need to be closer to the equator to have a space elevator work. So he had picked, before I came aboard, somewhere more like Panama City, which I thought would give it much, very different feel than the usual dystopian futures we see. It would be a warmer look. It would feel more like a melting pot. It's one of the last cities that survived, so everyone goes there. And that's what really freed us up to make something that was just more universal and told a bigger story.
And you put our own city within your own lot. That must have
We built the actual set, yeah, in my parking lot. It's still there. You all can come visit.
It needs to be said that his parking lot used to be the parking lot of an airport.
Small detail that explains a little bit the square footage available. Next question, over here.
J'ai une question. Pourquoi dans le film Alita, elle a des gros yeux?
Why does Lita have big eyes in your film?
And you know, it was something that I saw in Jim's original designs. That when he was going to make this in 2005, he showed me not only the script, but the original art paintings, what he thought the movie would look like. And the very first image I saw was her looking at her arms, with the scroll work, the porcelain sort of body, and she had the larger manga eyes. And I thought, oh wow, he's going to go for a totally CG character. It really pays homage to the original characters. You know, we've been seeing manga characters since Astro Boy in the 30s, but we've never seen one photoreal. And everything Jim does is always something you've never seen before, whether it's the water body Abyss or the T-1000 in Terminator 2, or the Titanic sinking, or the Avatar world. And that was going to be his in for this, was to create a character, photoreal, that you've never seen. So I knew we had to do that. It was the bolder way to go. And if the eyes are the window to the soul, we needed a character who was going to be very soulful, so that even in a wide shot, you can see everything that's emoting through her eyes. And she's a cyborg, so it would make sense that she could have a different look than a normal human. That's what causes this alienation, and she thinks it makes her more of an outsider to others because she doesn't look like everyone else. So it was all really great for the message of the film and worked really well.
Hello, over here.
Bonjour.
I just have a question for Robert Rodriguez and Jon Landau. Why did you choose Christoph Waltz as the father figure? And for Christoph, how did you do to portray that father figure with such a character as ALITA?
Why did we pick Chris? Christoph was my first and only choice for the role. We had like 3-hour first meetings where we talked about our children, our daughters, and you could just feel a very warm, fatherly figure about him. But yet you could have the edge of being a hunter warrior. You needed to have both sides. You couldn't have somebody that was too dark or too light. And Christoph can do anything. And we had such a great meeting that I knew that he was the guy. And brings just such gravitas to the whole project that it really set the bar early of what we were going to be going for. And I never could imagine anyone else, and of course now that we've done it, I can't ever play it. But that's why I shows him was really for who he was as a person first, kind of pick people for who they are, and then, of course, for his artistry and for his craft. Thank you.
Look, I look for story. What's the story? And then I think about what I can contribute. And after talking to Robert, and after talking to Jon, and after talking to Jim, after meeting Rosa, I thought I can contribute something. And if you have a story you like, a place in it, and the people you really desire to work with, there it is, no decision necessary.
Question là-bas.
Est-ce que vous avez prévu la sortie d'un ALITA 2?
Well, is ALITA 2 in the works in the future?
Well, I think that audiences are going to have to tell us if they want a ALITA 2. Kishiro created this vast world with many, many stories. We really only pulled from the first 3 and a little bit of the 4th, what is now 33, graphic novels. So if audiences, tell us, I know Jim would love to go back there. I know Robert, I think Rosa, Christoph, we would all love, because these are movies that have a theme that is bigger than their genre. The theme is what you leave the theater with, the plot you leave at the theater. And we would love to tell movies where we touch people and they're affected by the cinema experience.
And the third one is called Ida, not Alita anymore.
Jim, you were talking?
So what
Okay.
about the idea of the plot? Oh, I know, talking about the Ita, of course, film, the third one, of course. Question?
Bonsoir, merci beaucoup pour ce film. Et j'ai une question concernant les effets spéciaux. J'ai trouvé qu'il y avait une certaine, un certain pas contrairement à ALITA, c'est-à-dire que je veux savoir si vous avez rencontré dans la production des problèmes dans les effets spéciaux ou des nouveaux conflits ou dans le jeu d'acteur, s'il y a eu si c'était compliqué ou pas dans le jeu, dans les acteurs, ou bien là j'ai du mal. Excusez-moi.
Ce que vous voulez dire, c'est est-ce que les effets spéciaux, de quelle manière peut-être ont-ils influencé le jeu des acteurs?
Voilà, et dans la réalisation.
D'accord. To what extent, if any, special effects, play a part into directing, into the acting itself, maybe into the producing?
The special effects, we try to, I learned something from Jim on this movie. When I make movies, usually they tend to be very whimsical because of a cartoonist background. If I have a character put a guitar case on his shoulder and fire a missile, I don't think the audience really needs to know how it works. They can just kind of go with it. It's just dream imagery to me. But that doesn't fly with Jim. He would say, how does that fire? How does that reload? How did you engineer that? I don't believe it. It pulls me out of the movie. I don't buy it. So I realized that with him, he has a different approach to movies. If you ask him, he said, when I believe science fiction and fantasy especially need to be really grounded, be utterly real, otherwise you won't buy the fantasy. So I knew I had to take a completely different approach to it and not even rely so much on special effects. I thought, I'm not going to do like what I did in Sin City and shoot it on a green screen. I'm going to actually build real sets, have real locations, have real actors around. Rosa, she'll really bite out of a real orange, things like that, so that it would be very true to reality. So when they replaced her with CG, they would have to match the reality around her. So the effects were used to just really kind of solidify a reality so that you buy it and believe it more than just having effects for effect's sake. So that approach really dictated how we would shoot the movie than I probably normally would have thought for something like that.
Rosa, why don't you talk about, for you as an actress, doing a performance capture performance?
Well, it might disappoint you, but it was no different from working on a practical sense. Yes, I'm wearing a contraption, wetsuit type of outfit with mic packs and radios and fans and batteries strapped to my helmet and my body, but it didn't encumber me much, to be honest. They made a promise to me that it would be my performance up there, and the way that they would achieve that is for me to just give a grounded, organic performance. So all of that stuff was almost eliminated. They put us in an environment where we could play. We had the city, 97,000 square feet of actual practical city. So I think we spent 3 days on a green screen, which is really nothing for a movie of this kind. What it was like for me was actually quite freeing because it neutralized me in order to create something new. All of the other bodily discomforts sort of went away, and I was able to just do what I always do, dressed as a spaceman.
Question là-bas.
Hello. First of all, thanks for the movie. Question from Mr. Rodriguez. It's often said that movies made 3 times. First the writing, then the shooting, and finally the editing. What can you tell us about the editing? What's not in the movie? The deleted scenes, deleted subplots, these kind of things, and do you expect an extended cut later on home release, these kind of things? Or Mr. Landau, talking about your director's cut, when your pal James can take his nose outside of the avatar players for 2 seconds, just still waiting for a decent high definition release from the Abyss and True Lies.
I know.
We're working on those, but back to Robert's question.
I want those myself. Yeah, part of me weaseling my way into the company was to try and get my hands on those master copies.
Absolutely.
I'm actually trying to get them to do a commentary. I haven't told you that. Part of my conspiracy plot.
Yeah, what about the editing?
The editing, it was pretty lean. I mean, Jim's original script, I did most of the editing before we shot, because Jim had a long script. It was 186 pages. It would be 186 minutes instead of 120.